The Tony Gwynn baseball card that launched a million hobby treasure hunts. When the 1983 Topps Tony Gwynn baseball card first found its way into collectors' hands that spring, Mr. Padre and his mediocre team were low on our list of hobby priorities. After all, the San Diego Padres had finished the 1982 season in fourth place in the National League West with an 81-81 record and would end up in the exact same spot with the exact same win tally in 1983. And Tony Gwynn was likely more of a known commodity to NBA fans than to baseball enthusiasts. After a standout hoops career at San Diego State University, Gwynn was selected in the 10th round of the 1981 NBA draft by the San Diego Clippers on June 10th. The same day, the Padres took him with the 7th pick in the 4th round of the MLB draft. Those were hardly auspicious slottings, but Gwynn put his analytical mind to work, reasoning that a stocky 5'11 guy drafted deep in the NBA selection process had a better shot at success if he stuck with the diamond. And so that's what he did, inking a deal with the Fathers on June 16th. The city so nice, they had to name it twice. That foresight and early signing landed Gwynn in low A Walla Walla, where he hit .331 with 12 home runs in just 42 games. Numbers good enough to earn him a promotion to Double-A Amarillo in the Texas League. Another 4 dingers and a .462 average in 23 games there convinced Padres brass that Gwynn was ready for Triple-A, and he started the 1982 season in Hawaii. After hitting .328 over 93 games, the Padres called Gwynn to the big leagues for the first time late that summer, but early enough for him to log 54 appearances in San Diego. For the first and only time in his professional career, Gwynn would finish the season hitting below .300, managing just .289 mark on his official rookie year. Though most collectors and fans took little notice of Gwynn's rise through the minors and short but solid stay in San Diego, he managed to catch Topps' attention, as well as making an impression on Fleer and Donruss. As 1983 dawned, all 3 major card manufacturers were drawing up their inaugural Tony Gwynn pasteboards. A breakout performance. In the summer of 1983, as the Baltimore Orioles and Philadelphia Phillies built towards an eventual World Series showdown, many fans were focused on the exploits of all-world rookie outfielder Del Strawberry of the New York Mets. But while Strawberry was making a splash with his flamboyance and mammoth home runs, another youngster emerged from seemingly nowhere with a batting average that hovered north of .350 as the season made its final turn. Wade Boggs, a 25-year-old upstart who was largely unknown outside of Boston, would finish the year with a gaudy .361 average to take the American League batting crown. He also established a new model of superstardom that might serve other low-power, pure-hitting young players well. Learn all you can about your opponents. Focus on solid contact. Don't be afraid to take a walk. Hold strikeouts to a minimum, and make your gravy on a monster batting average. One of those guys who fit well into the Boggs mode spent his own 1983 season split between Triple-A Las Vegas and his hometown San Diego Padres. By the time October rolled around, Tony Gwynn had another 86 Major League games under his belt, raking to the tune of .309. Gwynn was ready for his own breakout, even if nobody east of the Strip knew who he was. 1984 next year. For most baseball fans who grew up at least partly in the 80s, the 1984 season was a magical time. The Detroit Tigers, thanks to a combination of young talent they had been building since the mid-1970s, gelled from the beginning of the campaign, and their 8-0 start turned into 35-5 on their way to a 104-58 finish. And after what seemed like decades of frustration, the Chicago Cubs became the darlings of the National League. They had to beat back their old nemesis, Strawberry's New York Mets, just to win the National League East made them even more beloved to baseball fans across America. In the AL West, the Kansas City Royals clawed their way to the top of a mediocre division for the right to be eaten by the Tigers in the ALCS, 3-0. In the NL West, meanwhile, it seemed none of the usual suspects, Atlanta Braves, Los Angeles Dodgers, Houston Astros, wanted the crown. So the Padres stepped up and trounced the rest of the division by 12 games. By that point, Steve Garvey was in his second season with the Padres, and they rounded up their lineup with a nice mix of veterans: Craig Nettles, Gary Templeton, and up-and-comers Kevin McReynolds, Carmelo Martinez, Alan Wiggins. The San Diego rotation was solid if not spectacular, with Eric Shaw, Ed Whitson, and Mark Thurmond leading the way, and a still prime Goose Gossage anchored a stringy bullpen that also included Craig Lifters and Dave Drovecki. But by midsummer it was clear that San Diego was home to one of baseball's rising young stars. All-Star breakout. In fact, by the time the league broke for an All-Star break in San Francisco the week of July 9th, Tony Gwynn had been voted a starter for the National Leaguers. When he lined up in left field, flanking Del Murphy in center and across from Del Strawberry in right, Gwynn served notice that he had fully arrived at age 24. For most collectors, Gwynn's climb up the batting average standings was as surprising as the emergence of Ryne Sandberg in Chicago. And as with Sandberg, the scramble for Gwynn's rookie card sent us to the common bins of our shoeboxes full of forgotten 1983 pasteboards. While all three major companies had issued their first Gwynn cards the previous summer, Topps was the undeniable king of the hobby in those days. Funny how things have changed. Or not, huh? And so number 482 was the Gwynn card to chase. Behind the count. Truth be told, even relatively unsophisticated hobbyists identified the 1983 Topps Tony Gwynn card as something of an artistic atrocity. While Fleer and Donruss both opted for pose shots of the growing legend with a bat on his shoulder, Topps went straight to the action. Unfortunately, that action involved Gwynn running away from the camera, with his backside powertrain the most prominent feature in the large photo. Thank goodness for the classic design of the top set that year, because the insert circular headshot not only showed us what Tony really looked like, but it also distracted us enough to make us swallow the idea that this was the cream of Gwynn's rookie card offerings. Tony Gwynn won the batting title that summer, hitting .351, and his Padres sneaked past the Cubs in the NLCS only to be trounced 4-1 by Detroit in the World Series. That magical season was only the beginning for Gwynn, of course, as he went on to capture 7 more batting crowns in a 20-year career spent entirely with the Padres. He ended his Major League Baseball journey in 2001, having collected 3,141 hits, good for a .338 lifetime average. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2007 and remains one of the most popular players from the 1980s, and really of all time. Along the way, Gwynn's 1983 Topps rookie card has risen and fallen in value and popularity along with the market as a whole and Gwynn's public visibility. Today, you can expect to pay several $100s for a slabbed gem mint copy. When Gwynn passed away prematurely in 2014, the baseball world gasped at our lost gem, but in the beginning, in 1984, Mr. Padre and his baseball rookie cards were treasures just waiting to be discovered. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel, waxpackgods.com.